What happens when a very famous TikToker from 2020 that was known for making Roblox edits all of a sudden disappears off the face of the earth, and then 2-ish years later, somebody reappears on the account, alluding that they are this TikToker's younger sibling? Well, today we're going to be going over what has happened to Xiaoleung, which I believe is how you pronounce this, which feel free to correct me if I am wrong, but essentially, this was a very popular and famous TikToker back in 2020, 2021. Now, if you guys don't recognize the name, you will certainly recognize the edits which I'll put on the screen, but essentially, this TikToker was someone who's incredibly popular. They did a ton of collabs with other creators, including Night Barbie, I believe was her name, Poppy, as well as, I think it was Iconic Fatima, I think was their username. I'm just kind of going off my memories here, but essentially, I distinctly remember this account because they were typically a trendsetter for a lot of the edits that you'd see in TTD3, TikTok, YouTube, etc. And I was actually scrolling on my For You page the other day, and you can imagine my surprise when I scroll into a video and I see this person that is speaking this video. And I look and I see that I'm following them, and I think, that's weird, I don't remember following this person. And when I visit the profile, it is Xiaoleung's profile, which keep in mind, they have not posted since like the first month of 2025. So it's been a very long time. Now, of course, I'm intrigued. So I go ahead and I take a look at this video, which is a picture, like a actual person speaking, right? Which, first of all, gorgeous, you're gorgeous. And second of all, I do feel like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are very confused by this video, which I mean, absolutely no hate to the person involved at all. Basically, I will play it for you guys, but it's essentially this woman who is speaking and saying that she is Xiao's younger sister, and I guess that Xiao no longer wanted to make content, so she kind of just retired, and now the younger sister is trying to do content, I guess, and is using Xiao's account to get, I guess, more reach? I'm not exactly sure, but we'll watch the video together and then kind of go over the community perception of this post.
Where are you? Where last post was it? In a year.
Last
post?
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but I'm unfortunately not Xiaoleung. I've spent years being Xiaoleung's little sister, and I think it's finally time for me to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Peng Mei, and I stream online. But before I get into that section of the video, a lot of you people are wondering, where is Xiaoleung? Is she okay? Is she safe? Is she ever coming back online? And I will say that she is safe. She is enjoying what she does now in real life. Will she ever come back? I don't ever think so. I don't think there's a possibility for her to come back. She just simply didn't want to create content anymore and felt it was time for a break forever. She genuinely appreciates everyone who's been here since her whole entire journey. No real words can explain how grateful and how much it impacted her whole entire life. She'll always cherish the memories that she's made here. But as for me, I've been just trying to hide in the background for these past few years. Watching her build a whole community of great people made me want to create my own. So for the past 12 now, I've been just trying to create content, stream online, on Twitch, making mistakes, embarrassing myself, but I enjoy doing it because I love content creation. No way I'm replacing Xiaoleung. I mean, because nobody can. I'm just simply trying to become Peng Mei and trying to make my own community. So if you are willing to give the less successful sister a chance, come hang out with me on Twitch. I'd love to get to know some of the people that have supported my big sister. Thank you, Minox, for the help of this video.
Now, as you can tell, her younger sister goes on to basically say that, yeah, she's not interested in creating content anymore. She just kind of didn't want to do it anymore. And obviously, there was a lot of confusion in the comment section because it's one thing for people to retire, but typically when someone retires, there'll be like a goodbye post or be like, hey guys, like I just outgrew this, I'm done. Thanks so much for your support over the years. And I felt that some of the way that things were addressed in the video, specifically kind of her younger sister speaking for her, kind of like in... as opposed to the older sister, I guess, allegedly in the situation speaking, was that the younger sister really emphasized how grateful the older sister was, how she really appreciated everybody's support, etc. But we never actually heard anything from the older sister. The younger sister didn't read a statement from the older sister. There wasn't any official post made by the alleged older sister. And I think that's what's led a lot of people to thinking that potentially this person is actually Xiao. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to spread misinformation, but I definitely did think it was interesting that we didn't see any, even just audio or like a written message from Xiao in this video, because obviously, this account is not a small account. It has 5 million followers. They had hundreds of thousands of followers across different platforms as well. They were very well known, and for someone to fall off the face of the earth and their younger sibling seems to allegedly take control of their account years later, it's just obviously left a lot of people being very confused. Now, this person says, does she still play? And the account, which I guess this is now managed by the younger sister, is what she's claiming. So it's the younger sister, and she says no, unfortunately not. Now I have seen a couple people, there was a Reddit thread actually made about this, where some people are saying that the way that the younger sister types is very similar to how Xiao would type. I don't really feel like that's like a legitimate reason to suspect the younger sister of being Xiao, just because, like, obviously if you grow up in the same environment, maybe you have the same mannerisms because you're siblings, like, that's pretty normal. I know me, as well as my younger siblings, like, we tend to type very similarly, or when we're texting, we use the same kind of, like, slang and stuff like that. So I don't feel like that's necessarily like justification to assume this person is actually Xiao, but I can understand why people might be suspicious. Now this person says, if you don't mind me asking, what does she do now? Or if you just can tell me hi, I'll be the happiest person in the world, even if her sister. And the sister responds, I'm sorry, I can't really disclose that, but hi, I'm her little sis. And this person says, wait, when she's reposting videos, is that you or her? And she says, it's me, her younger sister. So again, it sounds like the younger sister now has full control over Xiao's account. I'm a little bit confused still, I'm gonna be honest. This person says, so when was Xiaoleung's actual last video if the recent ones aren't her? And then the sister says the recent ones are her up until this video. So the ones, I guess it sounds like from January 2025 was Xiao, and then after that she just never posted again, I guess. And then finally we have these comments. I'm glad to hear that she's safe and will be watching your content. Trust. You're so pretty, by the way. This person says, can I get a hi? Also, did Xiaoleung quit just doing content, or is she also playing the games? And the sister says, hi, she like never plays Roblox anymore. Which I did actually go ahead and check on Rolimons, not to be creepy, but because I was genuinely curious. And it does show that Xiao's account has not been active for at least a year. So I feel like that does check out. I see a lot of people saying, oh, like maybe Xiao's just trying to like rebrand to doing like face cam streams and stuff like that and doesn't want to be associated with the old account, which I feel like that's a justified, I guess, assumption to have. But also I want to try and take what people are saying at face value, and I don't, like, based on like the video of the sister, which I'm not trying to assume anybody's age, but she does seem younger, and so to think that maybe she could have been incredibly young, like if this is like 5-6 years ago when the posting started, like I feel like she would have been incredibly young. Not to say that a young kid can't do really high quality edits like we're on Xiao's page, but I do feel like it kind of does indicate to me that this could actually legitimately be a younger sister, just because like the level of the edits. There was, I believe, a Discord server, or they're communicating over Discord. There was like a whole cancellation that happened in 2021 that kind of revolved around that stuff, if I remember correctly. And so I don't necessarily feel that kind of, I don't know, the mentality that this is actually Xiao and that she's lying, I don't necessarily feel like that's valid just because of how old she seems to be, which again, I'm not trying to make assumptions about anybody's age, but she does seem to look a little bit younger to me. And so then that would place her maybe at being like 10, 12 years old, right? At the time that Xiao was like really popping off. And I feel like a 12-year-old, not saying they don't have editing skills, but I feel like that's kind of a reach to assume that a 12-year-old would have, you know, the capabilities, the parental liberty to go and do whatever they want online, because I know personally my parents were incredibly strict when I was younger. I was not allowed to post anything online. But regardless, I am curious to know what your thoughts are on this. Like, I see a lot of interesting stuff, and this person was like, I'm so confused until you start explaining. That's insane. And there's also like a whole bunch of like TikTok threads, Reddit threads of people saying that they call bull, that they don't think this is true, that they think it's Xiao trying to like branch off into mature content, which, like, I understand that Xiao, I guess, did have like a cancellation at some point in 2021. I can't remember exactly what it was about. I'm not trying to like dig up past stuff. But even then, I don't think Xiao has ever done anything, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that has been proven, okay? Because rumors are one thing, proven facts are a different thing, that has been inherently like horrific or anything like that. So I don't really think it makes sense that she would like run from her past persona to start a new persona online. Like, I feel like that just doesn't make sense, because obviously, if you're a very well-known creator, why would you not utilize your platform to the fullest potential to help, you know, project or to further your new career, your new account, right? Like, why wouldn't you use your TikTok to do that? Like, so that's why I do feel like the sister is being honest here, and there is actually a younger sister. I understand why people are skeptical, because obviously a lot of people online will lie about things, they'll exaggerate things, they'll try to portray a false narrative for views or clicks, whatever. But again, a lot of the logic here, like, oh, they have similar typing styles, babe, they're siblings. Like, duh. Or, oh, well, you know, you sound like you were Xiao. I don't think Xiao ever shared their voice, so it's like, that doesn't make sense either. And also, siblings typically sound very similar. If you take me, one of my younger siblings, like, we'll be on the phone and you cannot tell who's talking because we just sound very similar and stuff like that. And also, again, it just doesn't make sense to me, because from my understanding, which I could be remembering wrong, Xiao never had like a massive controversy that would have completely ruined their reputation forever. And so I don't feel like it makes sense. Like, if they wanted to branch out into other content, they obviously would have used their main account with millions of followers to help their new account grow faster. Like, I think that makes logical sense. And so it makes sense to me why a younger sibling would be using, you their older sibling's account once their older sibling has retired to try and help them, kind of push themselves forward in their content creation career. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, I can understand why people might be a little bit confused, why people might be skeptical, and I think it's good to be skeptical and good to, not just believe everything at face value. But at the end of the day, I don't see a reason why, like, what benefit there would be to lying here. It doesn't really make sense to me. So with that in mind, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think that this is Xiao's younger sister? Do you think it's Xiao? What do you think about this whole situation? Did you ever watch Xiao when you were younger? Please let me know down below, because I remember, like, vividly just, like, watching so much of this content, so many of these edits, and then I tried to edit and I was immediately humbled and just gave up. But regardless, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye!